like to reconvene the West Windsor Township Council meeting of March 12th, 2018. Gay, have we been adequately noticed?
Yes, we were noticed January 5th, 2018 to the Times in the Princeton packet, and the closed session that we held earlier was notified on March 8th, 2018 to the Princeton packet in the Times.
Thank you. Would you all join me in the salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a topic for priority consideration. We have a presentation on La Convivencia. Tasneem Sultan, would you take the floor and give your presentation?
You want to go to the microphone?
Okay.
See, it takes it on its own. You don't want that?
We can start? Okay. Hello everyone, thank you so much first of all having us. It's such an honor to be here in West Windsor Township Council meeting. We are truly honored and thank you all for the opportunity. As you know, my name is Tasneem Sultan and I'm the co-founder of La Convivencia. So who we are, what we do and how it was founded, it's long story but short, we don't have much time. I was planning to make this organization since long time before I moved here. It's been 5 years. I'm living in this town. My family relocated from South Alabama. And over there I was very much involved in different interfaith and intercultural organization. And living in different countries and different states, I learned that nowadays it is very important to have the intercultural and interreligious dialogue to better understand each other. And then we moved here, and then I got more clear direction when my younger son, Bilal, he was doing research on the medieval Spain where all different religion and culture lived side by side, very peace and harmony. And then he said, Mom, can we do this? And then we have a direction, what we want to do. And the name Convivencia, it refers that period of time, coexistence, when there was a pretty good tolerance, peace, and more advancement. And at La Convivencia, we find that through dialogue and service, we get to know each other, and we know that we are not different than others. Our aim is to bring people of different cultures, ethnicities, and faith, bring them together. Most importantly, break stereotypes and build peace, which is our main goal. And we do it through different variety of programs like community conversation, interreligious and social justice workshops, and we have a very strong youth board. And education and service are our two more important tools. And if you can please do the next slide, please. Here's our mission statement.
Yep.
And maybe if you can play in the
Do you want the
slideshow mode, please.
You want what? Sorry.
Slide mode, I think the upper slideshow in the very...
Slideshow.
Oh, you want me to turn it on? Because it'll go
No.
once I hit the slideshow. Yeah. Where you want, from the beginning? You wanted to go?
No, that's when it's good, please, from here.
Okay. Ready?
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Thank you very much. So you can, next one, please. So this is our mission statement, and you all have, I don't need to really go in detail. I mean, we need to fight together for equality for everyone, regardless of color, religion, sex, or race. As I will just say a famous quote of Kofi Annan, we may have different religion, different languages, different color scheme, but we all belong to one human race. Thank you, and I will hand over to our next board member, Lynn. Objectives.
Objectives. Okay, so the objectives are long, I'll let you read them, but I want you to know we are one Christian, one Baha'i, one Jew, one Muslim, and we have some atheists too. So I'm an empty nester, my kids grew up in West Windsor, and we feel silos are across the land. Bullying and cyberbullying are increasing, bias is going up, hate crimes are going up, and so we feel together we can do more and we will do more. So you're going to get a pack where you can read the objectives, but the time is now that we together can do more, and we want to start here in West Windsor and then expand. Tesney mentioned the youth board. We're looking to start local chapters, La Convivencia chapters in the West Windsor schools first, and so we would love your support in ways that you can support us.
You want the video now? The next one's the video. Now it doesn't want to go on. There it goes. There we go.
It was a time in medieval Spain when different faiths and cultures lived side by side in peace and harmony, while making great advances in architecture, arts, literature, science, and philosophy. Hundreds of years before the European Enlightenment.
So this video is basically talking about first of all, what La Convivencia is. So it is a time period during medieval Spain where multiple faiths and ethnicities and cultures and religions, they all came together and lived in a diverse community. And in this diverse community, they were able to make many advancements, as they said in the video: art, architecture, science, math, medicine. And what we want to do here at La Convivencia is try to replicate those same ideals that were shown throughout the video about how during that time period people were able to come together and live peacefully and harmoniously without having any conflict, as we do here in America. In America, it's a much different situation, as even though we are diverse, we have tensions between us, and at La Convivencia, we want to make our nation a strong nation that is bonded together by the diversity that we all have, and try to make advancements in our own civilization. And we have different events that occur from time to time, and in those events we try to bring the community together and create a more inclusive and peaceful community. Thank you.
So just briefly, I'd like to speak a little bit more to what Bilal mentioned in terms of why we exist and how we got here today. There's a local author, Daryl Gooder, actually, who wrote a phenomenal book. And in the first half of the book, he's collected a tremendous amount of research that articulates a description, if you will, of North American culture today. So what he posits, as a lot of sociologists have, the modern project has failed. So we have entered into a postmodern context. And that postmodern context has created a certain condition. I'm going to just quickly go over what some of these conditional choices are here. The first one is endless choices made available by technology, loss of shared experiences, meanings conveyed as surfaces and images, transient relationships, plurality of approaches to sexual expression and experience, increasingly two-tiered economy with many dead-end jobs, a personal spirituality without the necessity of organized religion, random violence and clashes between culture, and feelings of anger or resentment because somebody's left us with this mess. So that was one of his summaries, and it's not just his, it's based on a tremendous amount of research about what the postmodern condition is for people as we are living into, the 21st century in North America. He's not making any judgments about these things. He's simply just trying to state what is. And obviously, it illuminates a very complex world that we're living in. His summary, what he states is that postmodernity is searching for an individuality beyond the empty construct of Western individualism, and for a community greater than the social forces that influence it. Therein, La Convincia finds a tremendous amount of opportunity. As you go through the presentation, and I'm not going to go through every single slide, you'll notice that I quoted a lot of research also from Dr. Sheila Emerson Kelly. She's the director of Behavioral Health Department in DC, and she does a tremendous amount of work on resiliency. And I'm sure that y'all have attended a number of the presentations that our local district has done talking about grit and resiliency as it pertains to education in the 21st century. But what a lot of people aren't talking about is resiliency in community. And resiliency is the process of adapting. It's basically a community's ability to bounce back after a tragedy. There are a number of risk factors for community resilience, and there's a number of protective factors for community resilience. But regardless of the status of a community's resilience, it can be nurtured. It is a long-term project. And that's where I think La Convivencia is kind of deriving its reason to exist and has established its objectives and goals within that milieu to help develop community resilience. Because when we have strong interconnectedness, as the research shows, we have increased trust in community leaders, increased compliance with messages, instructions in the event of an emergency, and a decrease of conflict among diverse groups and individuals in the community. So I'm going to hand it off, and they're going to talk a little bit more about some of the things we're doing to that end.
I just want to highlight some of our values that underlie the work that we do. First of all, we have sincerity, trust, diversity, unity, acceptance, collaboration, compassion, and excellence. I want to highlight collaboration because collaboration is working together for a common goal. And an example of this is on Martin Luther King Day, we had a day of service where we got together and made bags of personal care items for people in shelters. And we had people from all different backgrounds working together towards the common goal. And studies have shown that when you collaborate together on a common goal, it increases peace. And that's underlies what we're looking for.
Next slide.
Yes. So we also have a few rules of engagement, starting with an open mind, remembering to practice active listening, respecting the differences while we strive for understanding, and remembering that breaking barriers can often begin simply with a smile and a friendly face. The programs, it's in the next slide, include community conversations. Community service has been one element of all of our meetings. Leadership conference, we just concluded after much planning, just concluded yesterday, and I think the large majority of people felt it was a wonderful experience. Interfaith dialogue has been an element of several of our meetings, and we're constantly giving the opportunity for people to get to understand the representatives from other faiths that are within our communities. Social justice seminar and cultural and religious diversity workshops are also elements of what we're engaged in.
So continuing conversations is, I think, every other month we hold it in the library, And most of the people are from West Windsor, but some people learn about us and come from other places. And it's a big circle, and we have frank conversations. And people are now, a little anxious about the cultural climate and political climate, and they want to talk to other people. So it's just wonderful for people you don't know, face-to-face, how you really feel, a lot of I statements, and it's just a way to engage with other people in a meaningful way. So we invite you to come to that program in the library or some of our other programs. We really think they're meaningful to connect and to reduce prejudice and stereotypes. So in the library, and I know some of you have already attended.
So the Youth Council, it's basically just a group of students, including me, my brother, and right now 3 other students from High School North. And what we're trying to do is, what the slide says, try to build confidence in students and try to get them to make sure that their voices actually matter, because many students believe that what they have to say doesn't really matter to the community, but in fact, what the youth says now is going to be the future anyways, so might as well try to implement what they have to say into our community now. So we're just trying to get them to establish new relationships with other people, give back to the community, and then most importantly, stand up for everybody's rights. So next slide.
Next slide.
Yeah, so we're just going to do a run through of some of the events that we've done. So the first one is Celebrate Our Shared Values, A Path to Harmony, which was just basically, we had a few speakers, a panel of speakers, and we just talked about how we could bring this community and to a more peaceful society, especially in the modern day world where there's a lot of different opinions, and sometimes a lot of violence has happened within not necessarily this community, but a lot of the communities around the world. So that was the main focus of that event. The next one was celebrating food and music across different faiths and cultures. This was run by the youth board, and we just basically wanted everybody to have a fun 2 hours just eating food, understanding the impact food and music has on different cultures, and the importance it plays. So the next one. This one was just trying to, is similar to the first event that we had, just trying to talk about how we should give everybody the chance to choose what religion and what type of life they want to have, and be able to understand the present and the future, and understand religious freedom, basically. So next slide. And then the last one was just youth presentation of United Against Bigotry. So just as in general, La Convivencia is all about breaking stereotypes. So this is just a presentation by the youth board on how we feel is a method to try and break down the stereotypes, and we had a big discussion with all the attendees about how we can do that within our community and maybe even expand to the rest of the state and maybe the country. And that's it.
During that United Against Bigotry event, we also held a small art contest. We had a few participants, and as you can see their artwork above, they have some pretty good artwork pieces. Next slide. For our past community day of service on January 15th, on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, what we did is we held a day of community service at West Windsor Arts Council, I believe. And what we did, we had people showed up, and what they did, they wrote some messages for packages we were making to send to Trenton individuals and families to help them. And they also helped pack up all these goods so that people would receive them in a nice and orderly fashion. They could enjoy the gifts that were given to them. Next slide. And This year, we're planning to do another day of service, and we haven't decided the time or date yet, but we will do sometime later this year. And as of right now, we're also holding a food and personal care products drive, and we are trying to donate items to Trenton area families and individuals as well, so they can get the items that they need.
And lastly, yesterday we have our first annual Social Justice and Interfaith Leadership Conference, and it was obviously very big success. More than 200 people showed up. We have keynote speakers and different workshop about different interfaith and social justice topic. And what we wanted that people go back, take these tools and go back their communities and get involved. And so what we are trying to do, build more peaceful, inclusive and just societies. That is what our goal is. And please visit our website to learn more. If you have any question, email us, and our many events are coming, and we do looking your support, and we want you to look at our events, and we are trying to expand beyond the Westminster. That is our goal, is to open that chapter gradually in Mercer County and then gradually move on, hopefully, But we do need your support, especially our Township Council. And then the last one, thank you so much. There is a quote, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. It's a famous quote from Margaret Mead. She's a famous author. Thank you very much for your time and having us and for listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting and inspiring. So the next item on our agenda is public comment. So if you are here to comment on any of the ordinances coming up, please wait till the public hearing. But if you have anything else to say, and start with the people who have signed up, please come to the podium to make public comment.
Mr. Church?
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed that presentation, and the headquarters is right next door to the church that I attend, so that's another added bonus. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Good evening, John Church, 11 Princeton Place. Now, this is going to be very dry, I'm sorry, and council has already heard everything I'm going to say before, but it bears repeating. So, 2 weeks from tonight, council will introduce the 2018 municipal budget. I attended all of the work sessions leading up to this, and I have some questions that have not been answered quite yet, so I'll just go over them. The first thing is a current appropriation of $577,479 for an item listed as deferred unfunded capital. This is apparently for some sewer work that was authorized in late 2008, but for which enough money was not bonded at the time. We should do this work, of course, and spend this money, but I'm wondering why we cannot capitalize this amount instead of hitting the taxpayers with what will amount to almost a full penny increase in this year's tax rate. The period of usefulness is longer than 5 years, which makes it eligible for bonding instead of taking it as a current expense. Now, other local towns have done similar things, but not for nearly as much money as this. I checked the local town's budget, and they have much smaller items. Remaining questions are with revenues. The more revenue we have from sources other than property taxes, the less we have to pay during the year. First, I'm wondering why we can't invest some of our excess funds in things such as short-term T-bills that pay a lot more interest than money sitting in ordinary checking accounts, where much of our money is presently located. You would not be taking money out of the fund balance to do this, but simply safely reallocating money already in the bank. Second, it looks like we're only expecting $13,000 in sewer connection fees this year, but the large Manili project on Bear Brook Road should start connecting to sewers sometime later this year. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I don't think they have prepaid this last year. Third, we have currently $362,000 in the capital fund balance, which is entirely separate from the operating fund balance that we always hear so much about. In the past, this particular fund balance has frequently been under $300,000 with no ill effects. We're taking nothing out this year. I don't see why we couldn't take out $60,000 to help lower our taxes. Fourth, the assessment trust fund was $391,000 on January 1st. In past years, this has been low as $16,000 with no ill effects. This year, we are taking out $204,000, but we could easily take out an additional $120,000, which would still leave a reserve of $67,000, which is a lot more than we've had frequently in the past. Now, there is still time for council to make these changes that I've suggested before introducing the budget 2 weeks from now, after which changes become much harder. So I thank council in advance for considering this, and I hope they will take these suggestions to heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lavandera? Did I?
Thank you. Actually, my comments relate to open space, so is that related to the ordinance?
Please state your name and address
I'm
for
sorry,
us.
my name is Frank Lavadera. My address is 4 Wynwood Drive, West Windsor, New Jersey, 08550.
We have several ordinances for public hearing that have to do with open space, so why don't you wait till one of those and you can make your general as well as specific comments then.
Perfect, great, thank you.
Anyone else? Please come forward. State your name and address and make your comments.
Hello, my name is Bahree Ganesh, and I live on 8 York Road in West Windsor. The recent mass shooting in Parkland, Florida, has made us teens living in this township to feel upset and worried because our right to live is being devalued. My fellow students and I from both West Windsor Plainsboro High Schools are going to walk out of school on Wednesday, March 14th, in support of gun violence prevention. The NJ State Legislature is considering several bills that would help implement reasonable gun control, such as red flag laws that would place restraining orders on individuals who are deemed mentally unfit to obtain firearms, and magazine size restrictions. But the Senate is currently deliberating a reciprocal carry bill that would enable people in states like Pennsylvania, which is just next door to New Jersey, to bring their concealed weapons into suburban towns like West Windsor, with law enforcement not being able to do anything about it. If the federal legislation is passed, this would clearly undermine the state legislation that the state of New Jersey is aiming to pass. I would like to urge the council and the mayor to pass a resolution in support of the bills being considered in the NJ State Legislature and condemning the proposed congressional legislation on concealed carry reciprocity. In a town that places so much emphasis on students and their education, it would be unjust to ignore the valid concerns of students who are part of a generation defined by mass shootings around them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Gene O'Brien, Chairman of the Planning Board, and I'm here just to advise you that because of the inclement weather, the anticipated public hearing for the Master Plan's reexamination report will not occur on March 28th as announced last meeting. It's been deferred to April 11th.
Thank you. I think there are a lot of people who are interested in that, and I'm glad to hear that there will be an opportunity to speak. Anyone else?
Mark Pepper, 43 Providence Court. I'm here to speak in support of the resolution that's going to be introduced later this evening, I believe, to support the resolution opposing U.S. Senate Bill 446 and supporting the gun control legislation pending in the New Jersey Legislature. I'm urging that our Township Council will pass that resolution. I don't know if it's going to be voted on tonight. I was at the State House, I think last week, when the Assembly Committee was discussing the 7 gun control bills under consideration. I'm on the board of directors of the Coalition for Peace Action. The Reverend Bob Moore was the first person to testify, in support of the gun legislation, along with Dolores Phillips, who's spearheading the C-STAR New Jersey initiative, which is part of the Coalition for Peace Action. So they spoke very eloquently about why we need sensible gun control legislation, including, background checks, all the sensible gun control. And what was disturbing, there were NRA supporters at the hearing who also, it's their right to speak out as well. What I found disturbing was they talked about how onerous it is for law-abiding citizens to obtain guns in this country. I don't really have much, I found it very ironic for them to mention how onerous that is, because I think what's really onerous is the fact that all the 17 kids who were killed in Florida, and I just felt their arguments were very, not helpful to the situation, and, proposing things like arming our teachers in schools is, the last thing we should be doing. We should be, supporting, like I said, sensible gun safety legislation, and certainly we should not allow reciprocal, allow the reciprocal carry. We have to, fight against that. And I'm so thrilled to see all the students who are, planning to walk out. And there's also going to be a March for Our Lives rally in Princeton on March 24th at Palmer Square, 3 to 5. And also in support of sensible gun control. So I urge everyone to come out for that event, or else there's buses going to Washington, sponsored by the Coalition for Peace Action, and you can, get a seat on one of those buses. So I urge, people to attend either one of those events or any other events that are happening around the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Andy Brownberg, 24 Providence Drive. I just want to say that Purdy couldn't have said it better, and I'm not going to just listen to what Purdy said. And what's going on with these gun laws, or lack of gun control laws in the United States, is amazing. Have we been taking the wrong Kool-Aid in this country? I mean, it's crazy to not support, to allow reciprocal gun laws. So if someone has this, whatever it's called in one of these states, maybe Ohio or whatever they are, to be able to carry those guns in our school system, to allow teachers to bring in guns into the school or to support that direction, that makes no sense. We want to bring more guns into the community. I don't know much statistics, but in terms of people with suicides, in terms of people with accidents, they're all primarily by gun owners. If you don't have a gun in your house, there's less chance of an accident. If a teacher is allowed to have a gun, what if they're having a bad day? What happens if they left it in their jacket? What happens if a student is watching him? I mean, it's crazy. So what I would like to see West Windsor do is to take a stance and say, we don't go along with this. And, as everyone knows, I've always said positive things about West Windsor, and I'm very happy about your leadership for now. And, and do the right thing. So take a stance, support open space, continue to make the community better, and, take a stance where West Windsor, the best town in New Jersey, take a lead with anti-gun commitments. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, mayor and administration comments?
Okay, first I would like to, most of the people left. I would like to thank all the people who made the presentation. Thanks for coming. I would also like to compliment the DPW staff and the police who did a fantastic job dealing with the snowstorm last week. It was really a tough one, especially because of the number of trees down. The DPW staff went out of their way to clear trees, even on County Road. The Washington Street was opened so early the following morning only because our DPW guys cleared the trees. I mean, somebody was joking that if we had waited, the street would still be closed, probably. And I also want to thank the DPW Director, Alex Drummond, for convincing the recycling company to come on Saturday to make a second trip. I really don't know why they came the day after the snowstorm, because hardly, not even 2% of people had their recycle out due to snow. On the second topic of importance, last week the Mercer County Superior Court Judge Jacobson came up with a ruling, and if you have heard or read the papers, she assigned a number of 1,500 units to West Windsor, 1,500 affordable units. Just to clarify, these are not new units. These are the total number of units that need to be built between 1999 and 2025. We already have roughly about 1,000 units or so. So we need to build any additional units. If you use the natural ratio 4:1, that translates into roughly 2,000 more units. We have roughly about 10,000 units in town, so it's still too long, and I sound like a broken record, but I've been advocating there needs to be some common sense approach to affordable housing. And the ruling is very complex, and we are still digesting it. It's over 120 pages long, and in the coming days, the council and I will decide what the next course of action is on the ruling. So, thank you.
I have several announcements. Due to the frequent storms that the township has been experiencing and the large amount of damage to trees in the township right-of-way, parks, and open spaces from the storm last week, public work crews were unable to collect brush and yard waste at this time. Besides snow clearing and salting roads and sidewalks along with public facilities and open spaces, crews are working to clear fallen and damaged trees and collect tree branches to ensure the safety of our public roads, sidewalks, and facilities. Our Public Works Department is asking that you refrain from placing any brush and yard waste at the curb at this time until the program is restarted. The program has been temporarily suspended because it is not going to be possible for crews to get to the yard waste that may have been put out because it's snow covered. I assure you that crews will be out as soon as the snow clears, and once we have taken care of the situation with the downed trees, they will resume the yard waste collection schedule, and we will provide an update on a regular basis on the website. And for those that were supposed to have yard waste collection on March 5th, and this week, the crews will, in essence, be playing catch-up. So they are working presently, they worked on Saturday to clear a lot of the fallen trees that had come down. They are working overtime after their normal business day ends at 3:00 p.m. in order to catch up on the situation. There was a lot of damage to a lot of trees, both on private property and on township property. So our Public Works Department is prioritizing the tree work that needs to be done, and as soon as that's taken care of, we will resume the yard waste and yard debris collection program. On a second note, we continue to get calls about recycling and missed pickups. I have an update from earlier today. The Mercer County Improvement Authority has been made aware that some areas in the township were not collected this past Saturday. They apologize for missing your collection. They are out attempting to get anything that was left behind. If for some reason the recycling hauler does not pick up recycling on your street today, which was Monday, you can call the MCIA at 609-278-8086 or DPW at 609-799-8370. Residents are also welcome to drop off recyclables at Public Works Yard at number 70 Southfield Road, West Windsor. The yard is open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. We apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused our residents. Crews were out. Recycling crews did go out on Thursday, and that presented a problem because of the amount of snow and the fact that residents had not had the opportunity to clear their walkways, let alone their driveways, to create a path in order to navigate with their recycling cans. So we appreciate your cooperation and understanding, and again, I encourage you to contact the township if your recycling still has not been collected. My final announcement has to do with a activity occurring this Saturday, March 17th at Rider University. It's the 2018 Mercer Green Fest. There are going to be a lot of activities offered both for adults and children. The theme behind Mercer Green Fest is Go Green and Save Money. This event will be held from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the Rider University Student Recreation Center. The fair is free and open to the public, rain or shine. All Mercer County residents are welcome, and visitors can learn about a variety of sustainability issues involving energy efficiency, electric cars, health, exercise and wellness, walking and biking trails, food waste recycling programs, science fair, and robotic projects from area schools and groups. There will also be an indoors farmer market, and there will be plenty of items for patrons to purchase that day, and there are a lot of activities for the children to keep them occupied. For more information about it and further elaboration of the children's activities that will be going on that day, please visit our website under Current News and click on the Mercer Green Fest link for the actual announcement. Thank you.
All right, that's it. Council member comments. Aisha.
Thank you, Allison. So I've decided our township's DPW are superheroes. On Wednesday, we had 3 trees go down across our street, and it wasn't within 2 minutes of my son saying, "Hey, Mom, a tree fell," that the DPW guys were out there cutting these things down, moving them off the street into the sidewalk so that you weren't blocking our right of way. I was just blown away. Really impressive. And they did clear our street today of all of those fallen trees. Literally, we look like we're back to normal, so it's very impressive in a very short amount of time.
Another announcement that's very exciting, right, for our other group of superheroes in town, the West Windsor the volunteer fire companies are hosting their annual chili cook-off. I love this thing. So it's the fire companies from all around Mercer County come to compete. I get to be a judge again this year, so they really enjoy when I have to taste the spicy one. They're all standing around me with sour cream and water, waiting for me to sort of break into a sweat. But it's March 18th. It's a Sunday afternoon from 3 to 6, and I hope I'll see you guys there.
Virginia?
Oh, it's at the thank you. It's at the West Windsor Company Firehouse at 153 South Mill Road in West Windsor.
Thank you. Virginia?
I also want to say thank you to our police and our DPW. We had a lot of trees go down in our neighborhood or sort of break in half, and they did, I have to say, every time there's a snowstorm, they get out there very quickly. They've been out, I've seen them in the middle of hurricanes out there in the middle they cleared a huge tree from across the street from my house a few years ago during one of those hurricanes, and they were out again. I was surprised when I woke up in the morning and I could see blacktop. I was pretty surprised. But they did, there was a tree in my next door neighbor's yard. They came out and cut that up, took that away, and so many thanks to them. And also I know the police were out in full force, and these guys, that's what you need, right? When there's an emergency, these are the guys that get out there and take care of us. So many thanks to them. And that is all I have.
Jodica?
Hi. I also want to commend the DPW and the police and thank them for their work during the recent storm. Thank you very much. The Maurice Hogg Book Fair is on right now. I absolutely love the book fair. It's a time the kids love and look forward to during the year. In the spring, the school hosts a literacy festival, which includes fun events for Hawk kids and their families, and also gives a chance to the families to shop at the book fair. It's a great PTA fundraiser, and the funds that the PTA collects goes towards funding in-class programming, which directly benefits our kids. I encourage all Hawk parents to volunteer some of their time at the fair, and other community members to shop at the fair, which has some great books from Scholastic and other publishers. Holi, the festival of colors, just went by. It signals the end of winter, the beginning of spring, as well as the triumph of good over evil in Hindu mythology. And I want to wish our West Windsor residents a very happy Holi. Thank you.
Well, I also would like to commend our workers, our police, and especially our public works people for coming out and making our town safe again. And I know that they've cleared the streets, and unfortunately, the next stop is to look up and clear those branches that look as if they're going to fall down any minute because they're caught in other branches. So it's a never-ending task, and it's wonderful that they're up to it. I did attend the La Convivencia, what do they call it, a convention, and it was wonderful. It was inspiring. It was wonderful to see everybody talk about how we can get together, how we can appreciate each other, how we can help each other, and I really recommend getting involved with this organization, and I thank them for coming here and letting the people who watch us have a little taste of their excellence. I had nothing else.
I just want to add something about La Convivencia. I really like their premise of creating connections, breaking stereotypes, and building peace. And I've been to a couple of their community conversations, and I've really enjoyed talking to people from different nationalities, backgrounds, and ethnicities, and I really like them. Thank you.
All right, now it's time for the public hearings. Who is going to announce? Gay, I think that's you now. It used to be Marlena, so
we're taking a break. 2018-04, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a temporary construction easement for Michael and Hallie Matta located at Block 5, Lot 30, 71 Cranberry Road for $1,200.
This is the last construction easement necessary to do Phases 1 and 2A of the Cranberry Road Sidewalk Project, which can't start just now because of the weather, but it will start as soon as possible, weather permitting. Who wants to say anything in the public hearing?
Sylvia Ascarelli, 27 Melville Road. Thank you once again to the administration and to council for moving this project along. I assume that this Phase 2A, the work will actually be done then in the summer, that the contract hasn't yet gone out to bid, but any updates on the expected timing would be appreciated. And I walked to check out the Cranberry Road Bridge on Sunday, and as you know, there's no sidewalk from Millstone to the bridge. And even though the road is generally closed, it's still a little unnerving. Especially with the snow, there's no place to walk besides the road. And I'd like to hear whether the budget for the next fiscal year should include money for the next phase. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
That is
Second.
simultaneously.
give
Aisha
Jyotika
and
gets it.
Bahree moved it, and Virginia seconded it, so any way you want to record it, it'll be accurate.
Jyotika and Virginia.
Okay. Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Next ordinance.
Next ordinance, capital ordinance providing for the acquisition of real property known as the Hall parcels number 3 and number 4, block 33, lots 2.01 and 3, consisting of approximately 123.5 acres located at 229 Village Road East, and other related expenses in the Township of West Windsor, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, appropriating the amount of $1,575,000.
Anyone wish to speak on this? Andrew?
Thank you. Andrew Cully, 6 Jill Drive. This property has been on the targeted acquisition list for open space for the township for forever. And it's been part of the master plan. If you look at the map on the lower portion, you can see that there's a lot of green. This is one of the last remaining farms, the other being the Conifer property, in that section, which will create 600 contiguous acres. I would also mention that this is in a sewer district which has been deemed not appropriate for sanitary sewerage. It's very wet. The property itself is about 79% wetlands. It's heavily wooded. The non-wooded portion is farmed, and that would presumably be continued to be farmed. But it is very wet. The entire property is very, very wet, and it's not suitable for development of apartment complexes or other things which might happen if it's not preserved. Anyway, I strongly endorse the ordinance that's been introduced. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, Frank Lavadera, 4 Windward Drive, Princeton Junction. I've never come out before to speak, so thank you for having me and for having this. And I felt that I've been a resident for almost 25 years, have raised my 3 children here, 2 were Eagle Scouts. In fact, one did some work right out front. And I've noticed that over the years there have been more acquisitions of open space, and I saw this come up and I wanted to come and thank you all. It's a lot of money, $1.5 million to be committed, but it is extraordinarily valuable, priceless. And just want to let you know how much the residents appreciate this. I've seen the community grow, and that's a good thing. But I think that preserving our open space and preserving some of what we've had in the past as the framework for our community is extraordinarily valuable and should be continued. So I want to let you know how much the community supports what you're doing, and I hope that these types of acquisitions and preservation of open space continue into the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzara?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Motion to adopt?
I move to adopt.
I had a quick question.
Very quick.
That applied to both this ordinance and the next one. Can I ask it now or ask it after?
Sure, ask it now.
So Marlena or the mayor, so we're spending 1.5 on this one and 695 on the next one. They're coming out of open space trust funds. I'm just wondering what's remaining in the open space account.
Oh, okay. I have the numbers from old days. But just as a clarification, we do pay 1.5, but thanks to county, I have to give them thanks, they pay us 40% back. And they've been pretty prompt. They pay usually within six weeks after we pay. So just looking at the numbers, I have it somewhere. We can pay, this is thanks to, again, open space tax paid by everybody, but we can pay for both of them and the property on North Post Road using cash. We have the, I'll give you those numbers. I have them somewhere. Yes,
you.
past couple of resolutions,
Okay. Motion to adopt?
Yes. Second.
Roll call vote?
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzara?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Okay, next.
Okay, the next one is capital ordinance providing for the acquisition of real property known as the Sinsoni Parcel 96, Block 15, Lot 1, consisting of approximately 16.9 acres, located at 250 Clarksville Road, and other related expenses in the Township of West Windsor, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, appropriating the amount of $695,000.
Anybody want to speak up on this one specifically?
Sylvia Ascarelli, 27 Millville Road. Could you just elaborate a little on what's going to happen to that land? The description in the documents is just pretty general, and I'd be curious what is actually going to be used for. Thank you.
Right now, it will just be farmed. There's no specific plan to use that land in any specific way.
And it's subject to the open space restrictions anyway?
Yes, it's because we are getting Green Acres funding, so there are a whole lot of restrictions, not much we can do on that. I mean, we can't build like an enclosed structure and stuff like that. Yes, you can do the open recreation field, you can do soccer fields, tennis courts, nothing enclosed structure.
But right now it's just farming.
It's just farming.
Part of preserving open space is it's like putting money in the bank, so you have it when you need it. And there will be greater recreational needs in the township in the years to come, and we'll have the opportunity to use this land for recreation, or just preserve it and farm the farmable pieces. Andrew?
Still Andrew Cully, still from 6 Steel Drive in West Windsor. This property also has been on our targeted acquisition list for a long time. I would point out that it is also contiguous with another 120 or over 100-acre parcel, which is in the process finalization of being acquired, and it will provide a contiguous wildlife corridor through the rear of this property, all the way through the Duck Pond Run watershed. The other thing I will mention is that the back portion of the front part is farmed, but the back portion is woodland, wetland, and it encloses a tributary of Duck Pond Run, which is a stream corridor that the township in the past has extended extra riparian buffer protections to, because it is a stream corridor that feeds directly into the DNR canal, and that canal in turn goes into the water treatment facilities downstream. Actually, it's north of here, but it's downstream. In other words, it feeds into a public water supply, and several years ago, the township, working with the Environmental Commission and the council and mayor at the time, extended extra wide riparian buffers through that portion of the stream corridor. Anyway, again, it's an important parcel, and I urge adoption of the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, motion to close the public
So
hearing.
moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
I have the numbers. You want the numbers first?
Well,
I'd like the number. Well, let's finish the vote.
let's vote.
And then, okay. Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton? Yes. Manzara?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Numbers?
So, a few weeks ago when we did this, we had $2.9 million in that fund. Out of that, we are buying $1.6 million this property, $900,000 for North Post Road, $650,000 for the Sansoni track. That comes to 3.15, and we can do that because the county is fairly good. They return the money in 6 weeks. So we have timed it well. And then the North Post Road property was old acquisition. That time, county used to pay 50%. So we will actually get $450,000 back. And every year, we roughly collect $1.2 million in open space tax, out of which $700,000 is available for purchase. So we will replenish it at the end of the year.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton? Yes. Manzara?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Okay, next.
Ordinance authorizing the acquisition of certain real property known as Block 15, Lot 1, as referenced on the West Windsor Township tax map and consisting of approximately 16.9 acres located at 250 Clarksville Road, and execution of a purchase agreement with the Sansoni Company, LLC.
All right, anybody want to reiterate their approbation of this action? Seeing none, move to close the public hearing.
Move to close.
Second.
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Move to adopt.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Next.
An ordinance conveying Block 10, Lot 108.01 from West Windsor Township to Project Freedom, consisting of 10 acres for $1 on Old Bear Brook and Bear Brook Roads.
Anybody want to comment on this? Seeing none, move to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Do we have a motion to adopt? This would make it possible for Project Freedom, which is affordable housing that is all accessible with a certain percentage set aside for people with disabilities to be built.
I move to
72
adopt.
units.
Second.
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Consent agenda. I think we just have minutes and bills and claims.
Yep. February 12th, 2018, closed minutes as amended. February 12th, 2018, business session minutes as amended, bills and claims.
Anybody want to pull something or comment on something? Hearing none, do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Recommendations from administration.
Okay.
I think we have to do the first two separately.
Yes, we do. Yep. Authorizing the budget transfer, 2018 R083, authorizing the budget transfer to provide funds into the Board of Health salary and wages budget for $20,000, and Senior Center salaries and wage budget $2,000. Two-thirds vote of the majority of the full membership is necessary.
That's all of us.
Yep.
So do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
2018-R084, authorizing 2018 emergency temporary appropriations. Again, two-thirds vote majority for this one to pass.
Motion? Move to approve?
Second.
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
2018-R085, authorizing Jill Swanson, Health Officer, to execute a 2-year affiliation agreement with Mercer County Community College for a partnership for clinical nursing opportunities. 2018-R086, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a contract with Sunset Creations, Inc. for EAB management, street tree replacement, Y21, $41,870. 2018 R087, authorizing a reduction for performance guarantees for private site improvements, bond number 1143961, for the project known as 3515 US Route 1 LLC, AKA Princeton Car Wash, ZB 15-07. 2018 R088, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a professional service agreement with Robert Engineering Group for the project known as Glenview Drive Improvements Project, $24,425. 2018 R089, authorizing the business administrator to purchase hardware and software for the virtualization of the police division network infrastructure from Hewlett-Packard Enterprises under the New Jersey State Contract M0483-40116 and M0003-89849 through the New Jersey State Approved Co-op MRESCNJ 15/16-11 for $50,549.40. 2018 R090, authorizing the mayor and clerk, this should be authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a professional service agreement with all covered IT service for the virtualization of the police division network through the New Jersey State Approved Co-op ESCNJ/AEPA 17B, $30,542.
Anybody want to pull one of them? I have a question. Please ask it.
So on R86, this is the contract for Sunset Creations for EAB management, street tree replacement. I was wondering if this was part of the grant funds?
Yes, it
Yes. Okay, because it shows as coming out of traffic and safety improvement as the account. So I was just wondering, is that where the grant funds go, or?
No, we have to bond the full amount, and then file for reimbursement by the state.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, do I have a motion for 085 through 090?
So moved.
Who gets it?
Okay, that was simultaneous.
Go ahead.
So moved by Bahree, seconded by Hamilton.
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzara?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Okay, introduction of ordinances. 2018-09, ordinance authorizing the acquisition of right-of-way from the Hunter Family Real Estate Trust located at Block 16.12, Lot 23, 18 North Post Road for $18,000.
Motion to introduce?
I'd like to move to introduce 2018-09.
Second?
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Public hearing will be March 26, 2018. 2018-10, an ordinance to amend and supplement the Code of the Township of West Windsor, 1999, amending the redevelopment plan regulating provisions in the RP-5 zoning district of the Princeton Junction redevelopment plan, Chapter 200 of the Code of the Township of West Windsor.
Motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second?
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Public hearing, March 26, 2018. 2018-11, an ordinance to amend and supplement the Code of the Township of West Windsor, 1999, an ordinance amending the redevelopment plan for Princeton Junction by clarifying provisions pertaining to District RP5.
Motion to introduce?
I'd like to move to introduce.
Second?
Bahree?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Public hearing, March 26, 2018.
Additional public comment? Seeing no additional public comment, council reports. Jodica?
The Board of Education had their meeting last Wednesday, I believe. Last Tuesday, I'm sorry. The superintendent talked about the school security issues, and he went over a lot of programs that the school district has had in place for the benefit of the parents who were present there, which I counted, there were 6 parents present in the audience who had come there, even though the information had been put out that the superintendent would be talking about school security. So it just kind of puts a context on that issue. The National School, he talked about the National School Walkout Day. The information regarding what the schools are going to be doing on that day is on the website. Each of the different schools, elementary, upper elementary, middle, as well as high schools have different programs that they've put out. The middle schoolers and high schoolers, I believe, are walking out to a certain a point within the site of the schools, and the police will be present in large numbers. There's a presentation on vaping on March 14th, which is day after tomorrow, at Grover Middle School. They also presented the budget, and I don't think that they've moved to adopt it yet, but the budget was presented. Thank you.
Virginia?
The Recreation Commission meeting was postponed. It was supposed to be Wednesday, and with the storm, they've moved it to this coming Wednesday, so we will be meeting at 7:30 in the new rec offices, which are in the post office building. It's the door just to the left of the post office door.
The Affordable Housing Committee met. We had a wonderful, wonderful meeting. The developer of the property behind Ellsworth's came and discussed their property and the 100 apartments they want to put there, and the Affordable Housing Committee gave its opinion about having all the affordable units in one building. We were against it, and also expressed our opinion of Fair Share Housing Center as an aesthetic judge of that should be emulated. We were against that too. I think that everyone was very appreciative of the frank discussion, and I think that the issues that we brought up will be addressed and are definitely solvable by the planning board.
Nothing to report.
That's right. Go ahead, nothing? Done. Okay, but now we do have a discussion item. There is a resolution that is up for discussion opposing U.S. Senate Bill 446 and supporting gun control legislation pending in the New Jersey Legislature. We're going to address 2 issues. One is the resolution, and the other is the issue of this council and any other township council passing resolutions about legislation at a higher level. It is my personal opinion that it is not only our right but our obligation to comment on legislation being passed at the state or federal level that would affect the quality of life in our town. And with that, we'll start the debate or discussion with Aisha. We'll go around, we'll make a decision on how to proceed. We are not going to go back and forth and back and forth. So
I prepared this resolution, and mostly spurred by the fact that I reacted quite negatively to the Parkland shooting, and had a few sleepless nights because, you know, my kids go to school, and Parkland is a very similar community to West Windsor, and it all just hit a little bit too close to home. So why us, right? Why should we be doing this? We're a little old township council, and why now? Why us is because we put these elected officials who can actually vote on these issues in their jobs, and I expect to hold them accountable for voting on these issues. But I can't hold them accountable if I don't tell them what my wishes are. And I think that we as a community have expressed a desire to say we want some sensible gun controls, but we have no control over that. So I feel like we need to be sending our instructions up the line to say, we expect you to oppose Senate Bill 446. What that bill does is it overrides New Jersey law, and that terrifies me. In New Jersey, to get a concealed carry permit, you have to go through training and prove that you have been trained to carry a gun. In other states, you do not. In other states, you don't even have to have a concealed carry permit. So what Senate Bill 446 does is it says, doesn't matter what your law is, we're imposing on you the law of the weakest state. I'm a resident of New Jersey, I'm a taxpayer, and I'm a voter. It is my obligation, my responsibility, and my right to say to these lawmakers, you need to have my back on this issue. And this resolution is what that does. Now, the 4 bills that we referenced as proactive measures that New Jersey State Legislature is 7 bills, only 4 of them came out of committee. 6 came out? Right. So those are the bills that are referenced in our resolution here that we want to say to our state-level legislators, both at the Assembly and the Senate, we expect you to vote for this. They came out of committee. Committee thought they were good bills. Now we expect you to vote yes on them. And so that's why there's these 2 pieces of legislation almost combined into one in our resolution to be efficient about it. Now is the time, right? If not now, when? So I see a lot of things on, in the news about we don't talk about gun control in the face of a tragedy. No, I want to talk about it now. This is my resolution, so I'm hoping that you will consider this an appropriate time and an appropriate subject matter. Thank you.
Virginia?
Yeah.
Oh, Hemant, you would like to say something?
When I got elected, I said I would be active mayor, I would participate in all discussions, and I intend to do that. And those of you who know me know I never back out of an argument, whether you like it or not. So I'm going to say a few things that may offend some people, but I had let my thoughts known to both Ms. Hamilton and Ms. Miller ahead of time. So therefore, I'm a little disappointed that we are even having this discussion and this made it to the agenda. Last week, and in fact throughout my term on the council, I've been advocating that the budget control begins with passing the budget, not by pulling numbers out of the hat. And this is an absolute waste of taxpayer dollars. To push personal preferences, whatever we prefer, at the expense of West Windsor taxpayers. No offense to Mr. Herbert, but we are paying him good money to just sit here and listen to this discussion, and we are paying him to ignore his advice. No offense to you. If somebody else was sitting there, I would have said the same thing. This is not a discussion about content of the resolution or whether we need gun control. We need sensible gun control. We need sensible affordable housing policy. We need sensible school aid policy. We need sensible tax policy. We need 50 sensible things in this country, right from the township level to county level to state level to the federal level. And I can go on listing 50 areas and 500 bills that I feel we need support and that need to be voted on. But I was not elected to do that using my elected position as mayor. Ms. Hamilton can express support or disapproval for everyone from Secretary General of the United Nations to the Mayor of West Windsor, from the Pope to the Imam of local mosque. However, to use her elected position, she should only advise the Mayor of West Windsor, because that's what she was elected to do. And other times, she can use her own time, own money, own thing to do whatever she wants. And I do the same thing. It's not that I don't participate in debates, but not using my position on the council. So I will assure all West Windsor residents that all of us sitting here are for sensible gun control, for a lot of sensible things. But I will not use my elected positions to do tasks only for, I will use my elected positions only to do tasks for which I was elected to do, not to use that position to do anything else. We can debate this for next 5 hours, and you're paying this guy to sit here for next 5 hours. And I can come up with 15 different resolutions, every one resolution every council meeting, or 4 resolutions every council meeting, okay, and spend a lot of taxpayer money to push something that I feel need to be discussed. We just came up with affordable housing ruling, absolute disgrace that we are going to spend $500,000 in 2 years on lawyer fees, okay, without a single affordable house being built. And that's just one small town in West Windsor, okay? And there are 500 such towns in West Windsor. How much money is being wasted? There are a lot of things that are happening that you can comment on. But this is not the place or time or use of position to do that. So that's all I'm going to say. Okay. I don't control the council agenda, so it's up to Ms. Miller, what she wants to do, but I will say my piece.
And we'll each get a chance to say our piece. Ms. Manzari?
So New Jersey legislators had hours of testimony and hours of discussion before advancing several bills on gun control. And yet, this council is being asked to support those bills, even though we've heard no testimony. We have no expertise in this area, at least I don't. We have no idea what those laws will actually say, and we have no jurisdiction in this matter. So this resolution is not a matter that the council should be voting on. I try to make it a habit not to vote on things that I know nothing about. As a local government, we shouldn't be using township resources to debate issues that we have no jurisdiction over. What if somebody wanted to debate late-term abortion, for example? It would be inappropriate for this council to debate that. And since voting yes for this resolution would have zero impact on West Windsor, there's really no reason to spend our time and our resources on it. I don't have a political agenda beyond West Windsor. I was elected to be a council member in West Windsor to do my job that's put before me. That first and foremost, that's the budget. And then, running the township to the best of our abilities. I don't have any sights on any other political career, so I don't really have an interest in talking about national politics up here, and I don't think this is the place to do that. Again, we just should be focusing on the issues that we were elected to do.
Ms. Bahree?
I have 3 boys in the school district. Like any other parent, their safety is of utmost importance to me, and I'm truly aggrieved at the recent incidents of violence in other communities. While all of us understandably feel the need to do something, it is important to distinguish between the different levels of government and what can be accomplished through engagement at each of these different levels. Using township time, council time and resource to pass resolutions which have no teeth is not only of limited use, but can also be counterproductive. What we need to do is to focus our energy at the township level on issues like infrastructure and affordable housing. These are things we can do something about at the township level. I hope that we, the council, can set aside political posturing to come together as a team to tackle these complex problems. Thank you.
I respectfully disagree with my colleagues to my left, your right, because I think that this is the forum to make comments about higher level governments. I have seen in my 13 almost years up here how reactions by the New Jersey state legislature and some of our federal legislators to resolutions passed by multiple townships have been positive. We can make a difference as a council by passing resolutions. I think this is crucial. I think that the idea that people from out of state can walk into West Windsor with guns in their pockets, people who are not used to the density of New Jersey and not used to the way we interact, is quite frankly scary. I think each state should be allowed to set its own standards, subject to overwhelming standards, overturning standards from the national government. That is, I think the government can regulate things like gun control, but they should not overturn the state's wish to regulate things like gun control. I think this is appropriate. I think that support for what our elected officials are doing in Trenton is appropriate from this body. And I fully support a resolution, whether it's this one or amending this one slightly, to express our feelings that action should be taken on gun safety. However, tonight we have 4 people here, and it is quite clear that we are not going to pass this resolution. There is a difference of opinion. I think that we have expressed it respectfully. I would like to reschedule this when we have 5 people, but I would like to end the conversation now so that we do not, as you were saying, waste township resources by continuing it. I think we will not convince each other. But I hope that as individuals with no use of township resources, everybody in this room will send a message, sign a petition, send a message to our state legislators and our national legislators. And it would be possible with this coming back to get copies of the state legislation, and I think we should do that before rescheduling this for discussion. So thank you. And what's next on the agenda, I believe, is a motion to adjourn, because we do not need a further closed session.
No.
No. The public comment comes before the council.
What about administration?
Administration update?
No, then-
Okay, do you have a further update?
I do have an update, and it was in response to a question that Ms. Ascarelli asked. The Cranberry Road Sidewalk Project Phase 2A bids will be received on March 20th, 2018 at 11 a.m. So
Thank
that
you.
that particular project is moving along, as well as the roofing bids that are out for this building, as well as the Princeton Junction Fire Station. Those bids are to be open March 27th. In addition, I do want to mention that the rapid response by DPW is complemented by our police dispatchers and the officers and fire and emergency services who may be out and radioing into the dispatch center to let Public Works know what's going on. So I wanted to extend my thanks to the cooperative efforts among the various departments and divisions.
And that is really wonderful to hear about, because it shows that true efficiency in government is good communication and cooperation between different branches and different divisions. So, thank you. Because you had your public comment before our discussion.
You just missed it.
So, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll wait, talk to you.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.